Hey everyone, Tammy here. Hey, I'm sorry I can't be live with you today. I'm sure Lisa has told you. And I'm sorry I can't be in Aggieland. I'd much rather be down there in person. Anyways, Lisa asked me to share with you five ways to overcome a job or career setback. And actually I could come up with probably 25 or 30, even more, because career setbacks and job setbacks are so specific, right, to each time that you actually have a setback. I came up with five. They're kind of general, but I think that you'll learn from them, and I think they're going to be something that you could use throughout your career. Hopefully you won't have to use them too soon because you're graduating, but if you ever come up with something that you can't figure out, feel free to give me a call. I'm always around, you know that. I do have my notes in front of me because I want to refer to them so I don't forget something. Anyway, so let's go. The first one is just generic. I mean, if you have a career setback, a professional setback, you got to keep moving forward. Put one foot in front of the other. And I know that just sounds like something your mom or dad would say, but it's true. I mean, what else are you going to do? You have a setback. You have two choices. You keep going or you just stop. I mean, you can't just quit your job because you have a career setback or something, you didn't get the promotion you wanted, or something happened at work, or you made a mistake. You have to keep going. I like to call it putting on an Academy Award-winning performance. You never want to let them see you sweat, right? I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, you can't think that you're ever gonna go through life not making a mistake or not getting your way on something. So you've got to just keep moving forward. You know, it's a moment, right? It's one thing that happened. It's never going to define you, but how you react to it could, right? I mean, you can't just sit there and dissolve into a bucket of tears or get super angry or anything. What I will say is if you make a mistake, you need to own that mistake, but own it, you know, and be done with it. If you had a big spreadsheet that you were working on for your boss and it's full of numbers, and you hand it to your boss, and your boss now hands it to the CEO. And the CEO is presenting this, and you go, oh my God, I made a huge error in this spreadsheet. You know, you don't go running down the hall, hair on fire. What you do want to do is, you know, obviously tell your boss, look, I see it now. I made this mistake. I'm terribly sorry. Here's what I did, but here's what I'm doing now to correct this, and it will never happen again. I did this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have so-and-so here double check my work, or I'm gonna read backwards through it because that way I'm gonna correct my error. Come up with your way that you're gonna do it and then drop it. I don't want you to bring it up every time you see these people, just let it go. And you know, don't go telling everybody in the world either that you made a mistake and you know, how stupid that was. Again, own it, correct it, tell them what you're gonna do about it in the future and let it go. But keep moving forward. Put one foot forward every single day. The second thing I would tell you is you have to plan for your career setbacks. And I know that sounds kind of funny. So how do I plan to have a setback? You're not planning for the setback, but you have to have a plan for your career though. I found that having a career plan in place always empowers me. I feel so much better if I have some plans, because then when something sets me back, I feel like, okay, Tammy, that happened, kind of deal with it, but I've got my plan over here. So I'm empowered with my own plan. The company may have this plan or this may have happened, but I'm empowered because I've got my own plan right over here. And what I'm talking about is I have my 12-month plan that kind of coincides with the goals that my boss and I have worked out together. And I've got that plan going. But then I also have my own 5-year plan. Where do I want to be in a year? What do I want to try and do? Am I trying to get promoted? Am I trying to learn new skills? Where do I see myself in this year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years out? And so I've always got that going, and I always have an up-to-date resume. I always have my resume updated each year at my review time because I know then what my wins were for the year. So I go ahead and use those bullets and update my resume. So I'm always ready to go no matter what happens. It's a very empowering feeling, and I would encourage all of you to do the same thing. You want to feel like you have some sort of control over everything, which you do. The company doesn't control you. You control your career. And I think that helps you every time you have a career setback. And I also would encourage you to have what I call a career crisis plan. I mean, think about what would happen should the worst happen. The worst to me is that I would lose my job. What is my career crisis plan should I lose my job? What steps do I take when that happens? So that's, something you all have to think about. Number 3, maintain and grow your network. And I cannot emphasize this enough. What happens when we take our jobs is we cocoon in to that job. I mean, we're excited, we're there, we're committed, we're doing our work, man. We are going forward, we're making friends. And we kind of forget about growing our network outside of the company that we're with. But then what happens when we have a career setback? We either, the setback is either kind of small, or maybe it's major, or maybe it's clicked something inside that we say, we've been here 3 or 4 years. Maybe it's time to look for a new opportunity, or maybe the company's decided that, and now suddenly we have to look for a new opportunity. If you haven't nurtured that network, that professional network, you can't do that quickly. That takes weeks, months, even years to get that network together. I encourage all of you to continue networking. I mean, the easiest thing in the world is there's an Aggie network in just about every city. If there isn't one, go ahead and start one, but I'll be surprised at whatever city you're in that there's not an Aggie network. Keep that thing up, because when you need it, you will need it bad. And it's a good thing to have. You've got to nurture that network. And that really helps with career setbacks. It also helps you just make good connections and good friends. So if you have a setback, you can kind of talk to them about it maybe, and have a trusted advisor that you can say, hey, this happened to me, I just need somebody to talk with about that. Okay, the 4th thing on career setbacks that I would tell you, and this is going to sound funny, but money is power. And what I mean by that is not a higher salary or anything, but this is on a personal level. Be good stewards of your personal finances, because when you feel like you have your finances in order, you feel empowered at work should something happen. So again, if you're shored up over here personally, and you have a career setback, or let's just say, I don't know, the company decides to come in and change all the titles at work, or they have something's happened with the company financially, and so they go through a period where they they say no bonuses this year, or heaven forbid they demote you for some reason, or no raises, no bonuses, or I don't know, there's all sorts of things, or even there's something happens at work and you got passed over for a promotion, and then there's another opportunity come up that you really want to take, but it's less money. I mean, if your personal finances are in really good shape and you've saved for the future, money is power. You have choices. And that's what I mean by that. Also, at some point in your career, more than likely, and hopefully it's way, way, way down the road, but at some point you're probably going to get laid off. That's just the way of the world. It will have nothing to do with whether you're a good employee or a bad employee. It's a numbers game. And when that happens, you need to be personally shored up. And they say 6 months of expenses you should have saved. I would argue that should be a year. When you think about this past year with the global pandemic, think of how many million people lost their jobs suddenly, and what a huge shock to those people if they weren't prepared. And I would argue that the majority probably were not. If you read statistics and things, it sounds like most of the people didn't have maybe even a month's salary saved up. And so it never hurts to take care of yourself. My dad always used to say, pay yourself first, and I think that that's a great mantra to have. But to me personally, it's always meant that I have options, and so when at work something doesn't feel right, it happens, it's a career setback, I always feel, I feel more empowered, just like I do with my career plan. And it's all about kind of taking care of myself a little bit. And the last thing I want to kind of talk about is, let me say one more thing. That's part of that career crisis plan too. Your finances are part of that career crisis plan I mentioned earlier. So if you have everything together, you got your finances and everything else, career crisis plan should also have the money part attached to it. But number 5, this is really something I want to tell you, is again, a career setback is not the end of the world. It's going to feel like it when it happens. It does to me, or when it happens, you always have this little part of you that think, it's over, I'm done for, my career's never going to go anywhere else. But it doesn't. You're not defined by any setback, no matter how big it feels, even if it's a layoff. And I've been laid off, my husband's been laid off, most of my colleagues have been laid off, and you always find your way again. I always tell people that get laid off, hey, congratulations, now it's happened, you know how to do it. And I remember, I was going to tell you a story, when I was at Nokia and I got this job that I was really dreaming about, and it's to manage all of their national sponsorships and promotions. I mean, it was a great, great job. And the first thing I did, when I say the biggest thing I did, it was a motorsports agreement, and our first big deal was with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I probably had, I don't know, a couple hundred people on site, and we'd done all these consumer promotions and things leading up to it with all the big carriers like AT&T and Verizon and all these things. And so we're on site. I've got several hundred people on site, and I'm talking hotels and events and everything else. And I've got a suite with about 50 people in it, and the executives there, and we'd had different meetings with executives from different companies and everything. And prior to going there, I had wanted to serve alcohol in the suite to these executives and consumer winners and things. And one of the big VPs said, absolutely not, you're not going to spend the budget on alcohol. And I said, I don't know, this is part of going to Indianapolis. And no, we're not going to. So I had to say, okay. Just before the race began, the skies opened up and it started pouring rain. I mean, it was just awful. It was pouring rain. And that started a 3-hour rain delay. And I had 50 people staring at me. What are we going to do for all this time? We have nothing to do now. We've eaten the food, we're sitting in the suite, I've got no cards, I've got nothing for them to do. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with all these hundreds of people that are outside somewhere getting drenched. I don't know where they are. So I'm huddling with my agency folks, trying to figure out how we're going to take care of everybody. This same VP that had said, absolutely not, you cannot buy any alcohol, turned to me and he's angry and he says, where is the alcohol? Where is the alcohol? We don't have anything to drink. And he goes, where is it? And I felt like looking at him saying, I don't know, can a mirror reflect your image? That's where the alcohol is. I couldn't say that to him. But anyways, I said, I'm working on that right now. I mean, I just lied through my teeth. I said, I'm working on it. And I turned to my agency folks. We went outside and I said, what are we going to do? Because we're in the middle of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with almost 400,000 people. It's not like we could run outside and get to a grocery store and get some. And so basically what I did, I authorized them to go and buy alcohol from other suites. And just, I don't care what you have to pay for it. Go find it somewhere, get in the golf cart, go up and down this whole place. I don't care if you have to buy it from some people camping outside. We are going to get alcohol and we're going to serve it here because I've got ice and cups. And we figured it out somehow, and we made it. I still to this day don't know where they got this alcohol from. They said they got it from some little place somewhere. I don't even want to know. But anyways, I just knew that at that moment, I could see my job slipping away from me. I could just see me getting demoted. I could see them taking that job away from me that I had wanted and fought for so hard. And at the end of the day, I didn't lose my job, but I learned the next race was that I didn't care what he said. I was ordering alcohol because I knew when we got there, he was going to want it, even if he said no. But that's my story. You're going to have the same kind of story someday, and you're going to laugh about it, and you're going to have fond memories thinking back on it. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't be with you. I hope the rest of the semester goes well. Maybe someday I'll get to meet you in person. Good luck. Bye.